the pantheon of our leaders. As chief guest, Dr. Arun Kumar Chakrabarti, the Director General of the Raja Ram Mohan Roy Library Foundation, the CEO of NASSCOM Foundation, Shrikant Sinha, sir. We've got the founding chair and advisor to the IPLM, Dr. B. Shadrach, and the chair of the IPLM Advisory Board, Mr. P. Jayarajan, and the executive director of IPLM, Dr. Shubhangi Sharma. So I'd like to start by inviting the CEO of NASSCOM Foundation, Mr. Shrikant Sinha, to please welcome everyone.
Thank you, Rini. A very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I think we could not have had a better session of the parliamentarians than what we had over here. Of course, we wanted to get some more parliamentarians over here, but we were fortunate to get the best of them. I think the last session actually crystallized and actually helped us also understand where IPLM should be moving, where our public libraries movement should be moving towards. And as was said over here, that if we have our eye on the goal, things will happen, it will get done. I think that was the main message that all of us should carry behind with us. Over the last 2 days, of course, we had a lot of deliberation, a lot of discussions, and of course, all of us enjoyed these sessions. In fact, in the afternoon or in the early mornings, we were expecting hall to be half full or half empty, should I say, but I was pleasantly surprised that we had very good participation amongst all the sessions. Of course, a couple of people right now are very enamored with Meenakshi ji, and she's a personality like that itself. When we initially met her and we started talking to her about what we want to do through public libraries, she said yes. And when we requested her, ma'am, can you become our brand ambassador? She said, yes, I'm already committed to this cause and I will be doing everything in my rights to make this thing happen. I think, that is the kind of a person Meenakshi Lekhi ji is, and I'll not be surprised that a lot of people are still taking selfies with her right now outside. Coming back to our session itself, I think everything that starts has to end, and so is this conference, IPLC 2017. Today, as I stand here in front of you, I still remember the amount of planning that has gone into bringing this conference to you, the kind of work that the entire team has done to put this conference together, and the endless number of hours in working out the sessions along with the program committee, the advisory group, and everyone else, under the guidance, looking at who could be the best speakers, who could add value to all the professionals who are present for this conference, and actually looking at creating sessions which would be learning exercises. So be it in terms of learning exercises like what we had yesterday, a QR code library, we are talking about digital, and just imagine books are there in a bookshelf, but they are QR codes which people could access. I never thought this could be one of the ways that a library could be created. I got some education yesterday during June session. When, all the various speakers, and today if you look at it, I think some of the eminent speakers that we had over here today, and I was very happy to learn from a lot of people who walked up to me and said, year on year you are setting the benchmark higher and higher. What can we expect next year? So my answer to all of you gentlemen and ladies over there is something even better than this time. I think what we have tried to put in together with these eminent speakers, and I would like to actually thank all of them also for taking out time and being present amongst us and sharing the knowledge, be it in terms of Mr. Jayesh Ranjan, who just came down from Vietnam a night before and took the next morning's flight to be with us at this event to help people understand that what public library means to people. Some of our friends were sharing with us and saying that, look, a whole lot of IAS officers have done their education and things from these public libraries, but they don't do anything Ladies and gentlemen, I think Mr. Jayesh Ranjan, Dr. Dinesh Tyagi are examples of people who actually mean a lot to the libraries, and they want to do a lot to the libraries. Meenakshi Lekhi ji and Arif Muhammad Saab were also people of the same breed. The deliberations that happened over these days in various sessions, etc., I think has opened our mind to a lot of possibilities that could be there. And if I take back a learning from this conference is that there are endless possibilities, be it in terms of the 50 events to be done during a day, to the various softwares that are available today for librarians to bring in more footfalls to the libraries to happen. So there are a whole lot of deliberation, whole lot of discussions that have happened. And probably if you look at it with these 70-odd speakers, and I'm sure a lot of networking opportunities also, which will continue today in the evening and during the workshops tomorrow also. I think all in all, this conference, thanks to your presence and your involvement and your participation, has been a great success. And really, I would like to thank everyone for that. Of course, I will not be talking about the learnings. For that, I'll leave it to my colleague Shubhangi to talk about the various learnings from this conference. But I would like to once again welcome you to this closing conclusion ceremony. And I think it's my proud privilege to be part of NASSCOM Foundation, which is hosting IPLM, to be part of IPLC, to be part of this great journey where libraries can become the thought leadership institutions for the future. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sinha. And now to share with us the key recommendations of the IPLC 2017, I request Dr. Shubhangi Sharma, the Executive Director of IPLM.
Hello to everyone again. I think after this very, very interesting preceding session, it is very difficult for me to actually stand in front of you and talk about the key recommendations of this conference. I must confess to you that the key recommendations, whatever important discussions happened here, my colleagues are working on the key recommendations. So I would not, whatever I say here, those are not actually key recommendations. I'm merely going to highlight as to what we discussed as a group, which we feel should one way or the other form the part of pre-recommendations to the government of India and to the RRLF, because we have in front of us DG RRLF sitting. So what I gathered and whatever is there in front of me, I would say that a certain very important point which emerged of this particular deliberation were, and they were just reiteration of whatever we have been able to discuss in 2015 and 2016, but still there is a merit in reiterating. So I would say one of the important point which emerged even during 2 days discussion in this conference was that as safe and inclusive knowledge and information spaces, public libraries have the potential to help India achieve UN Agenda 2030 or the Sustainable Development Goal alongside Vision India 2022, and libraries should be rightly placed in that perspective. The second important thing which came out in this particular conference was that public libraries, that the time has come when public libraries need to think beyond the government funding. They should be able to and open to explore partnerships and collaborations with the private sector, and for that there should be enabling environment created. We also actually, not in so articulate format, but we also discussed the importance of having a unified library field, which is at the moment discussed by IFLA in its global vision discussions, the document which is soon going to be out. So we actually articulated our intention and our ambition to move forward to a unified library field where all forms of libraries, irrespective of whether they are public libraries or academic libraries or community libraries or school libraries, need to actually interact with each other more often and also understand and learn from each other. This was one of the important things which is our takeaway from this conference, and we are going to work towards it. We also discussed this whole aspect of monitoring and evaluation, and we felt that public libraries need to integrate an effective and efficient M&E system to showcase the impact they are making in the lives of the community. They need to focus on numbers, data, as well as stories of change to showcase the impact which is being placed by these institutions on the community. So I think public libraries need to be very, very open on showcasing their impact, showcasing the stories of change, showcasing how the interventions and various programs and services of public libraries are actually improving the lives of the people and making them more efficient and growth-oriented. Then we also discussed in various sessions, we also discussed a lot about use of IT, ICT in the library space. And we felt that since IT and ICT have penetrated every aspect of life, the public libraries need to utilize these to become the fulcrum of a knowledge society, and again, for which the enabling framework should be created through bringing in legislative and policy reforms. We also felt that the libraries should use the ICT to reach the unreached, which is the theme, central theme of IPLC 2017. We also, as a group, felt that public libraries are people's universities. Therefore, there is a need to re-emphasize this aspect of public libraries. With the help of ICT, the public libraries can play an important role in integrating global knowledge with local knowledge. I think it was a very important takeaway from the discussion here. Then another important thing which came across from the discussion in this particular conference was that at present the MHRD deals with academic and institution libraries while the MOC deals with public libraries. The government should create a mechanism to align these two ministries for resource sharing and reaching the unreached. I think it is one of the very important thing which is sort of to be carried away from this conference, because all of us have been able to understand as a library community that so long as we have aligned our forces, we would be able to respond to the people's expectations better, and therefore we need to see how we can work better with both the Ministry of Culture and Ministry of Human Resource Development, so that we are able to really make these two ministries understand as to how they need to pull in resources, how they need to see that there is a very, very smooth and organic link made between academic libraries and the public libraries, between the community libraries, school libraries, and the public libraries, which facilitates continuum of knowledge, information, education, and engagement. We also, in this session, I would say that in this particular session, which has just finished, we actually again re-emphasized on the need of having a robust national policy which could actually guide state legislations, which could also guide state governments to do better in the field of public library. And we have just got a commitment from our Honorable MP. She has agreed to do whatever is within her capacity to make sure that the agenda and the voice of public libraries is heard loud and clear in the galleries of Parliament. So this is one of the, I think, if I may talk to you or speak to you about one of the biggest achievement of this year's conference, that we have been able to get the commitment from a dynamic parliamentarian, and I can tell you that coming down from the dais, she very clearly told me that you will see within 2 or 3 days something happening. So probably we can be hopeful that she would be raising the voice of public libraries. And we also discussed this whole aspect of reading and how reading, as usual, can be made an integral aspect in various ways to the whole library functioning and the way libraries are used and perceived by the communities. So these were some of the key, as I said, that I would not say that these are recommendations, because my team is working on recommendations as of now, and they haven't yet completed the job, but pretty soon we would be finalizing and formulating the key recommendations and would be sharing with all of you in order for you to be able to add if you want to add anything else. But these were some of the key messages which, according to us, have come out of this conference, which we would try and see how we can take those forward with the respective ministries, with the RRLF, because we are talking in the presence of Director General RRLF, and on some of the recommendations, I believe DG's good office can do a lot, because it has the kind of reach and the accessibility in the ministries, which probably institutions which are outside the government domain, government purview, can have. So I'm looking forward to DG's guidance and his very proactive role in order for us to be able to take the cause of public library further. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sharma. Now to present the key demands from government, we have Dr. B. Shadrich, who is the founding chair and advisor of IPLC.
Thank you, Ms. Khanna. Before I start off with the demands from the government, I wanted to say a few things. I wanted to thank Ms. Rini Simon Khanna, who has been the moderator, who has been the master of ceremony. Without your support, we may not have actually come to this state. As librarians, we speak a lot, we always spill over time, but you've been very meticulous in enabling us to keep up to time. Thank you so much. I'm sure my co-chair of the organizing committee, Mr. Jayarajan, would thank everyone, but in case if you forget to thank, I want to thank the team here that has been using the sign language to communicate. I hope that there have been some takers to that communication, but thank you so much, the team, for doing this. I also want to thank the technicians, the people who control the stage as well. So I'm sure you would have thought about thanking all of them, Mr. Jayarajan, but I thought I would do this because quite often what happens when it comes to the vote of thanks, we usually run short of time, and we end up thanking only the very key people, very big dignitaries. But these are all the people who make it happen for us. Now, again, as the co-chair of the organizing committee of 2017 IPLC, I would like to provide a solid recommendation to the team that is putting out together the recommendations of 2017. Don't make new recommendations. Make consolidated recommendations, because the tradition of IPLC has been 2015 we had recommendations, 2016 was a consolidated one of 2015 and 2016, and let 2017 be also a consolidated recommendation, unless and until you found something extremely new which is not included in the. So my recommendation to you is don't come up with new set of recommendations while the work is still pending. We are on the roll to actually get the 13-point agenda that is in front of us, which is the consolidated recommendation of 2015 and 2016, to be implemented. And we have only scratched the surface so far. So let the 2017 be a consolidated and a stronger set of recommendations of the 2015, 2016, 2017. If in case you have found a 14th recommendation, which is not included in the list of 13, please do include. But my plea would be for you to strengthen the language rather than come up with something new, even without actually having tackled the existing 13. What are the key demands from the government? I have been tasked to provide this input to the multi-stakeholders present here. And I really wonder, who is the government? And who am I speaking to at this point in time? For a better, how do I put it? Now, Dr. Mahesh Sharma had other engagements, he could not come. The secretary is new. She's more interested in tourism and culture is an additional charge. The additional secretary also had other engagements. In spite of confirming, she did not come and participate in this program. Of course, the joint secretary was away in London, so he could not be present here physically. And we heard the director speak this morning, Director Deepika Pokrana, and we do have the Director General of the apex body of the Ministry of Culture, the Rajaram Mohan Roy Library Foundation. So as Dr. Shubhangi Sharma rightly pointed out, sir, we have you. You are the government for us, right? And please don't tell me that you are not the government. You are the government. So if I am making this plea, it is to you, because we want you to take this message forward to the Ministry of Culture. Now, I would also state here that the government for the public libraries is not just the Ministry of Culture. In my opinion, there are various line ministries, the Ministry of Human Resource Development, which was pointed out by Professor Mangala, because we have to work together. At the state level, most of our library subject is dealt with by the Department of Education, who report to the Ministry of Human Resource Development. In some cases, we have our own public libraries department. In the case of Karnataka, for instance, in the case of some 3-4 ministries, we have Rajasthan as well. In certain places, the Ministry of Panchayat Raj also gets involved. We also do see government as a unit at the central level, the Ministry of Culture, Ministry of HRD, and various other line ministries that we can look into. At the state level, whichever nodal agency that is looking after libraries, but also at the district level, we do have great champions in the form of district commissioners who also have the ability to influence change. So when I put this demand to Dr. Arun Kumar Chakravarti, who is the Director General, the topmost official, if I should call it, for the public library subject in this country. None other than Dr. Arun Kumar Chakravarti is the topmost official in this country. So I'm putting the plea to him. So, sir, together with the plea, because, we all come from different backgrounds, and I come from an NGO background, and I've always been made to think smart, specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time-bound. So this recommendation that, the 5 recommendations that the 5 demands from the government that I'm going to put out is to be smart, is to be time-bound. And we need to actually implement this or attempt to make attempts to implement this in the next 12 months. That is not the case. It is in your good office, with the help of people like us, IPLM Secretariat, IPLM Fraternity, and well-wishers like us. We are there to help you. But it's primarily your responsibility, sir. And we want to see these 5 attempted at within the next 3 months, so that by next year, when we come for IPLC 2018, we can proudly say, yes, we have tackled it. Okay? Is it something that you all agree? Unfortunately, as the founder chair of IPLM, I have sleepless nights. Every night I think about IPLM, and I think I can bring that passion above everything. So the first key demand is, we have Meenakshi Lekhi, the Honorable MP, who speak to us just now, saying that, legislatively, anything you come to me, I am there to support you. But what we don't have, what we want to ask the government to do, and particularly from your office, sir, within the next 3 months, I want a letter to go to the government and to the PMO that a committee should be constituted, in my opinion, and in the opinion of everyone here and the IPLM, that a committee should be constituted to develop the national public library policy. What the IPLM attempted at, what was released yesterday, was the rationale, was the need for a public library policy. We don't have a public library policy. We can never have a IPLM because public library policy development, government policy development is a government prerogative. So as the government, we need a committee to be constituted, preferably a multi-stakeholder committee, preferably people who are not in the age group of 70 plus as the members of the committee. The members of the committee should comprise of people in the age group of 26 to 100 or whatnot, but also an inclusive committee that also includes people, gender balance, and also people from the other sections of the society, including the differently abled. Please, sir, up to you. Now, why do we want a national policy on libraries, public libraries? The existing national policy, the NAPLIS, what we refer to, is a 1987 policy under Dr. Chattopadhyaya. We have created this. And how many years since 1987? Those who are good at mathematics could... 30 years. So just now we heard Arif Mohammed Saab say, also Madhavan, the journalist Madhavan Narayanan say, policy has to be contemporary. Policy cannot be set on stone. And nowhere in the world you have a policy that is living for 30 years. And even if Mrs. Kalpana Das Gupta believes that NAPLIS is good enough, I would say no, it's not good enough. For two reasons. Number one, NAPLIS is a library science policy. It's not specific to public libraries. Number two, NAPLIS was written when the computers were just about to enter the domain. And we have digital, print, 24/7 outreach, day and life that we live. And we want the young people who are there, as Dr. Chakravarti mentioned yesterday, what is that? Footfalls? Finger falls, right? So we are looking at finger falls. So we need a specific policy on public libraries, which needs to be, again, time-bound, with the members of the committee which form part of all walks of society, but within the next 6 months. So that kind of advocacy, effort, and power that we expect from Dr. Arun Kumar Chakravarti, and I am sure he would do it. But alongside the national policy, we also have the need for a Model Public Library Act. When I say Model Public Library Act, it's not the Library Act that is enshrined for the country, because libraries are the state subject. You can only come up with a Model Public Library Act from an apex body. And why we need this? At the moment, ladies and gentlemen, the 20 state governments that have enacted the Public Library Acts are conducive to government libraries. Look at the governance. The section on governance within the Public Library Acts of each country. Starting from 1948, our Tamil Nadu, the famous Madras Public Library Act, which only has government babus basically governing the public library system. We are in a multi-stakeholder arena. We are talking about raising funds from the private sector. We are talking about taking risks. We are talking about moving the public library institution as a growing organism, as a dynamic institution for the future. We just cannot live with those 20 acts. I would like to say that a Model Public Library Act should be placed, and the existing Public Library Act should be shamed. That is where we are. Even if Karnataka is fantastically running your public libraries through your Karnataka Public Library Act, we can still have improvements on your act. So we do have a need for a Model Public Library Act, which is multi-stakeholder based, which has room for raising funds. This morning, Ms. Deepika Pokrana mentioned that we might be spending 1,000 crores. No, we might be spending even more than that. We might be spending together from state governments, from various philanthropic efforts, the central government, although the budget may be relatively smaller, we may be even spending 2,000 crore. But that's not the point. The point is all about not just money, about the efficiency and the accountability of managing a public institution. And at this point in time, unfortunately, most of these acts do not have accountability factor. We've examined the act very well, and Shipra, who has meticulously analyzed the act, can very well testify for this fact. And all those 120 people who attended our public library legislation consultation in 4 different places can testify there is no accountability. Accountability is not just financial accountability. If you are given a task to actually implement something, if you don't implement, you are accountable because you have lost time. You have lost an opportunity for generations. So I would like to propose these two in one bundle, that a national public library policy were to be prepared, preferably constituted by the government as a multi-stakeholder, with a multi-stakeholder outlook, but also a Model Public Library Act. The second ask, the second demand from the government. Now, this morning, Mr. Upadhyaya, I think, he mentioned about having connected a couple of libraries with the National Knowledge Network. I think we need to make a demand. It's taxpayers' money. The BharatNet program is not something that it had fallen from the heaven. National Knowledge Network, the BharatNet program, is taxpayers' money. In addition to that, it's also money from the USO fund, the Universal Service Obligation Fund, where a small levy is made, taxed on the operators. At the moment, we have, 6 or 7 operators, which is being consolidated into 3 operators with the entry of Zio. We are seeing a sea change, but huge amounts of money is, staying there with the government, and that money is being spent on BharatNet program. And we need to demand for the public libraries, 70,000, 100,000, I don't know. But in the first phase, we need to demand that at least the state central libraries, the district libraries, the divisional libraries should have connectivity under the National Knowledge Network program. And this is a major demand. And ladies and gentlemen, let's not take it lightly. Even if there are attempts made towards this, within the next 6 months, we need to see to it that the 1 GB connectivity at the district level and the 10 GB connectivity at the metropolis level is made available in the first phase. It's just the beginning. I would like to say that the 1,000 libraries in the first phase within the next 6 months included in the NKN is a responsibility. If it takes for us to go and meet the Prime Minister of this country, I am ready to go. But without resources, it's not just the connectivity, it's not just the pipe. What we are demanding is a fully functional ICT-enabled section within the district, state, and divisional libraries in the first phase so that we can demonstrate success. And the next phase, we can move to the Mafussil town level. And of course, as somebody mentioned, that this is a national resource. The pipe terminates today only. The BharatNet's plans are pipe terminating at the panchayat level. But we want the pipe also to terminate at the village libraries. Because this is the only democratic public access resource center for the people. And the 300 million that the Prime Minister of this country asked Mr. Balagopal to look at. Mr. Balagopal, he asked you to look at? Mr. Balagopal? He asked you to look at 300 million people. How would you manage to reach out to 300 million people without proper infrastructure and connectivity? We need to demand to the government that up to the village level, we need the BharatNet to work for the public libraries. The third demand. Ladies and gentlemen, the third demand for me is the content consortium, the idea which was promoted by this morning by Mr. Dr. Arora, is an excellent idea. Now, the RRLF, the Rajaram Mohan Rai Library Foundation, cannot continue to function the way it functions as a kind of a mere funder of public libraries, the 17,000, through matching and non-matching schemes. And I think here I have Mr. Jayarajan, and we need to also, being a member of the RRLF board, we need to actually get people like Mr. Jayarajan to shake up RRLF from the current position of just being a passive agency that pushes money from the central government to the state governments through the matching and non-matching scheme, to become much more proactive. And how do you become proactive? Enter into licenses. Enter into license agreements with all these publishers. We talked about EBSCO, we talked about so many content providers. Can't we have a program that rides on the existing NDLs, NVLIs, and others, where for public libraries, a small group constituted by Dr. Arun Kumar Chakravarti, looking into the content consortium of content that could flow into public libraries, so that public libraries do not have to pay for concurrent access. Government pays. And we have terminals in each and every of our public libraries in our country where access is made available to our communities. And I want this to be seriously taken as a recommendation, as a key demand from the fraternity of public libraries, that RRLF should become a proactive agency that also engages the publishers, the publishing industry, the online industry, the content providers, to channelize, to create a kind of a gateway to knowledge which could flow into the public libraries. We don't want the state government agencies to go and negotiate and lose the deal. We don't want the content providers to go and have 30 different deals with 30 different states. And only then the winners, only 5 states are the winners. Maybe Jammu Kashmir will be the 6th state. What happens to UP? What happens to Bihar? They don't have money. So whose authority, whose responsibility it is? I think we need RRLF to look into this very seriously. The 4th recommendation, the 4th demand. I'm sorry, recommendation is not the right word, demand. The 4th demand. Dr. Chakravarti, the 4th demand is, we have spoken enough of this. We have seen enough of this. The National Mission on Libraries had a window of opportunity to train the librarians. What we need today in this country is, if there are 150,000 public libraries, I bet there are 150,000 library professionals. The Rajaram Mohan Rai Library Foundation, together with perhaps IPLM, should undertake a continuous professional development activity, and by which 10 days of compulsory training be given to each and every librarian every year. Now, one may say this has started to happen, but I'm saying this in a mission mode. 10 days of compulsory training on a variety of topics relevant to their communities, their context, with a bouquet of training programs organized by RRLF and IPLM. If it takes 50 crores, let it take 50 crores. We'll raise it. If the government cannot give it, we'll raise it. But this is a mandatory. We just can't leave our librarians and blame them, and somebody coming on the stage and as you were mentioning, making them criminals. We just don't want that. We want them to be empowered. How do you empower them? You empower them through training, to capacity building, through giving them proper guidance on what they ought to do. And this is not a joke. This is not 2 training programs here, 4 training programs there. It's a systemic approach to continuous professional development for library fraternity. The 150,000 plus whatever number, it's a guesstimate. There could be 300,000 library professionals in this country. And somebody spoke about certifying librarians. You go to Philippines, every year a librarian is certified, like a bar council or a medical council. He is reskilled and he proves that he has the latest concept, then he is certified to run a public library. So the fourth demand, my dear sirs, is the RRLF and IPLM should undertake to tackling this issue of 10-day compulsory training to the public librarians through a continuous professional development program, which means they are actually auditing courses and graduating from their whichever position to. And the last and the final demand. The last and the final demand, I think, could be also done by RRLF and IPLM, is a full-fledged advocacy program. Now, starting from your Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy, there needs to be a capsule on what is a public library, what it means to be a district development commissioner or a district commissioner to handle the subject called library amongst the 29 subjects that he or she handles as a district collector, and why it is important as a cross-cutting, knowledge-empowering tool, the public library, to be focused, to be given the proper attention. Most of the times, the intent is clear, but the practice is bad. The intent, through the Public Library Acts, we do have that every district should convene a district library committee, which is headed by the district collector. But it takes an IPLM, it takes a Gates Foundation to write letters to make the district commissioner to realize that, okay, the 29 subject library is also my responsibility. They don't have the time. So right from their orientation, the early days of their entry, and not just at the Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy, but also the state administrative colleges and whatnot. So there needs to be an advocacy, full-fledged advocacy program targeting the public, targeting the policymakers, targeting the government officials, targeting the corporate sector, targeting the philanthropists. So advocacy is all about the impact of public libraries and why these public libraries were to be institutions, to be recognized. Now, Swachh Bharat, Swachh Literacy, reading program, GST awareness, name it. In the last 10 months, if I come up with a catalog of things that you people have done, not a single agency in the government, not a single public sector agency in the government has tackled multiple things. Mr. Behr talked about multidimensional function of a public library. You are living examples. Who will advocate? Who would advocate for what you are doing? Do they know? Does the PMO know that what you are doing is very worthwhile? Swachh Bharat tax has been collected so much, and they are actually struggling with spending that money in the right institutions. Public libraries are an institution, a set of institutions that could be seen favorably by the authorities. We need to advocate. We need to communicate. We need to actually go to places where we need attention. So the fifth demand and the final demand, I would stop there. IPLM, RRLF should initiate an advocacy program targeting different constituencies in a very targeted manner. You can't have one set of deck of PowerPoint slides and you can't go and promote it anywhere. You can't have one set of films and you cannot run. You have to have targeted programs, and it costs money, it costs efforts. It has to be very, very cleverly, strategically articulated and done. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shadrich. May I now invite Dr. A.K. Chakraborty to please share his thoughts with us.
Good afternoon. Everybody is ready to leave, and there is a concert also, the program, so I don't want to stand by between that, number one. Number two, we had a two days programs, and today we are ending. But Mr. Sikant Sinha says it is ending, so I see that it is beginning, because So it is always that even in any research also, whatever the research ends, it starts another research or another point of strategy. So that's good, because that's what I was thinking that time itself. He is telling the ending, but any seminar, it's not ending. It's always beginning of the new era, new things to be done. So, and that note, so that means the RLF and the IPLM. So IPLM is the Indian Public Library Movement. So Indian Public Library Movement. So we have also made a party with this. That means we want that library should be reached to unreached and everybody. And that, that somebody says 150,000 libraries, somebody says 70,000 libraries, somebody says 34,000 libraries. So we do not know how many. So that means in our government sector, RLF alone cannot reach all the libraries and all. That is not possible for the RLF or to whatever the resources we have. And then spending also, you say that thing that more than whatever estimated, they approximately 2,000 crores have been spent for the libraries by the different ministries. So it is not only the Ministry of Culture spends, it is by the different ministries, Ministry of HRD. Say in one, you see the public libraries are suffering. We feel that, it is like they are not doing it. It's not like that, because in any of the IIT libraries, they get 20 crores fund. So say there are 50 IITs, how much fund they get for the library purpose? They got 20 to 25 crores of fund for each library, and not for the staff. That's only for the resource generation. And in our public library systems, 17,000, 18,000 library, we find that every library is getting not more than 30 to 40,000 rupees per public library per year. So if this 40,000 rupees public library is getting, and whatever services are they are giving, I feel they are proud of it, that they are giving a real service. I salute all the public library librarians with a very, very meager amount of service. They are trying their level best what to do for the country and all. So it is not so that the other sector, today morning, Deepika madam also told that Ministry of Culture only spends 200 crores, but other sectors 1,800 crores. We are not seeing that, because through the consortia, same library, same IITs, same Ministry of MHRD, same the DOT, same of the Department of Technology, same journals, they are subscribing. That's what consortia already told. That same journal, same resources are subscribing by the same ministry. So if it is a one national licensing, then everybody would get. Because they are telling, that publishers are telling that it is a concurrent user of 100, 200. Any subject, if you see IIT subscribe, 2,000, 5,000 journals, if it gives 200 concurrent user, is there having any physics, the 200 users, any physics small subjects, whether that journal has got a 200 concurrent user? It doesn't have. So if it is a concurrent user, even in a 200, any journal getting in all over India is a difficult. So that's what we tried our level best to make a one consortium, but we could not do it. But we have tried with the different other ministry. They come up with us, and we have sent a proposal. We have requested to them come at the platform. We could not make it. That's a different. So I should tell that accountability is not, because the accountability is there. Because the public library professionals, whatever the budget is being given to them and all, whatever the resources are available, they utilize at most their interest, and then they try their level best to do the best services to give their whatever the resources available. So they have a accountability. And then whatever the resources, what we support to them, each account, every year there is an audit. Last 40 years, we have not a single audit query of these things. So this is a wrong conception of that. That is not accountability. The public library librarian is accountable and is giving the government accountability. That's I could tell you. That accountability is there, but the resources or the public library librarian cannot be held responsible for any of the services of any missing of these things. That I feel. Because if you go to the library, you will find that people are using the library up to 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 or 12 o'clock, and the librarian people try to serve them whatever the way they have in the resources. Whatever the resources, whatever they try, they can give it. They give it. And then connectivity, under the National Mission on Libraries, we have already a provision for that, which mission has recommended that all state central libraries, all district libraries should be given national connectivity of the NKN connectivity. We wrote to them connectivity and NKN connectivity. They are telling that we don't have a fund, we are not able to give. I think Secretary wrote minimum 5 letters. Our Ministry of Culture Secretary, he wrote 5 letters to the ministry. I will not tell which ministry, in Kenya, that we have not received connectivity. Till that, the Rajavaramon Rai Library Foundation asked, we are telling them, we will give them money. That also we have not, till yet, the connectivity would not be connected. So that's what the connectivity of this, 620 libraries, we want to give the connectivity to all this. And we have a fund for that, to making that infrastructure. We have paid for the infrastructure and all. We have kept the ready, but the connectivity we are not getting. So it is good that there is a IPLM giving a recommendation. We will able to take up this one, because we have already in the RLF board, Dr. Jayarajan sir is there, and then other people. So this, it's really required the public library movement, because see why they are not giving connectivity. They said that what the public library will do with the connectivity. How much you justify why they need a connectivity? I told them, see, public library is a people's university. I wrote to them and told them, the public library is a people's university. You have a connection of the library for the school library up to the school. You have a college library up to the college. University library up to the university level. Then where after that the teaching, where they should go? So the public library should get connectivity, and then one can resources, and then everybody should get that resources. Then there will be more footfall in the public libraries. And we are ready to give them the, whatever the infrastructure is required for that. And we have kept the money, for the digital resources, but the connectivity is not coming. So that's becoming difficult for us and to get, so it's very, very good. That's what I told, in the beginning itself I told, the public library, to set up a public library, you need a public library movement. The people's demand. Until the people demand, it cannot be. So that's all people, if you make demand, yes, we need the connectivity, these resources will be utilizing it, and this is required for us, then only they will give it. They say that, university libraries, this NCAN connectivity is being created for the university for higher research. But for higher research, the people what they're doing this research, this only the higher research things are available. So they need a connectivity. If you want to have a digitized resources, if you do not have a connectivity, good connectivity, how you will download the digitized resources? That's not there. So this kind of connectivity is there. So ICT functions we have done already, and then for making this model libraries, we have already created 70 model libraries. We are providing fund for that. There is all 35 state central libraries and 35 district libraries, and then 6 MOC libraries will be a model libraries for the creation. And for that, we have any kind of ICT infrastructure they require. We are having fund for that through NML, and we are providing for that. Already 41 proposal we have sanctioned, and the work is going on. Out of that, I think something 15 already implemented. So this all working goes. It's a slow process, because the state government has to take the tender. They have to, because in the government process, it takes little bit time, but the thing has been taken, and we have started the working from the 2015 onwards actually. So this, though it was sanctioned, was something around 2012, and then fund came in 2014, started. So this is a good proposal that Bharat Network Library, I'll take up this one, and we'll be looking after this, because I feel that connectivity is a really issue for the library, and I have been pursuing for that, and this will really help for us. I think the ministry will also take up these things. And first of all, I'll apologize that I am not representing the ministry, because the RLF organization is an autonomous organization under the Ministry of Culture. So whatever we have to do it, we have to, anything we do, we need to get it passed from our RLF administrative committee, then it goes to the RLF board, and then one RLF board approves this one, then we will put up to the ministry, and then ministries, there is a different strategy of this, and the ministry one by one recommends and all. So it's not so easy that one go itself, the DGRLF will be able to decide or anything. DGRLF is an executive agency. He is an executive person. What is this? Anything comes to the DGRL table, he will not keep it in his table for more than 48 hours. Well, I don't keep it anything on 48 hours. DGRLF is a sweeper. You can tell is there is any of this is a sweeper, means anything comes to this, you will put a jharu and then it will put it in another table. Yes, I was. That's what I'm telling you. See, that is why I'm telling you, we do not have a connectivity. That's what I'm telling you. We have I told you, everything is ready. Connectivity was not there. connectivity was not there. So all the I'm answering it. I am answering all.
Because you know, Minister of Culture is very good. I have been spent 38 years in Minister of Culture. I retired there.
No.
You will not get any reply. What Mr. Sanjay told, within 3 months, within 3 years, you will not get a reply.
Okay. Yeah. So access to, yeah. Then the proactive also. Yeah, I've given already answers. The connections of professionals, development.
Excuse me, I think 3 months have been given for that. Let's not have the questions. Let's hear him, and then we can probably, break out for separate discussion offline. Thank you.
Yes. And then the continuous professional development activities. That another point is that, see, RLF is already implementing agency for the different training program. We have been organizing it. So NML, we are waiting for the NML extension. So once NML extension, we have already planned for 15 programs. We have also planned for a university to certify our courses. That's also online courses with the certification, because some people say it's 50,000 library, some people say 70,000 library, whatever, I do not know. But main problem of the library, because the public library librarian, they can tell that most of the library, they do not have a library professionals. Some of the libraries are run by their group D. So these people, how you can train them? Because when we conducted some training, some people came in our training program with their son. I will not tell the state name, I will not tell the neighbor name. They came with their son, and they said that I told you that we are not allowing anybody to come with your family or any member. Then they came with their son, and they said that I am not able to handle the computer, so I'll see better that my son learns this computer, so he at least take the benefit of this. So that is the national connectivity of this. Then full-fledged advocacy programs and all. So whatever the suggestion has been taken, obviously we will be taking it up to the next issue, no doubt of it. It is all, any recommendation, anything comes, the RLF takes it very seriously and do the things whatever the way it can be done. That's no doubt of it. I can assure you that from the RLF point of view, whatever the recommendation, whatever things comes, see anything, whatever the committee, what you call our MP and all, they all request comes to us, and we give always a positive response of these things. So it is very good that we have heard of our MP, honorable MP, and if she is taking up, it can be done so many things. It needs some motivation. Yes, it can be done, sort of things. Thank you very much for giving.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chakraborty. I'd like to request Dr. Shubhangi Sharma. Excuse me, sir. We've got the next performance waiting in the wings.
Professor
It'll be
Rao,
very difficult.
please,
They're already throwing us out of the hall.
Offline, we can talk about it. Please, thank you so much.
Dr. Sharma, if I could request you to quickly give away our little tokens that we have for everybody, as I invite Mr. Jayarajan to speak at the end. So we first would like to present to Dr. Chakraborty, Dr. Shadrach, Mr. Jayarajan, to Mr. Sinha, and we have one for you, Dr. Sharma. If I could finally request Mr. Jayarajan to please come up and give the vote of thanks very quickly. Ladies and gentlemen, we are under tremendous pressure now because we've got the performance which follows in this hall. They're all waiting in the wings to start their performance. So, Mr. Jayarajan.
The first minute, I want to assure you, all the demands, all the recommendations, a lot of them has to be pursued by RRLF. As a member of the board, RRLF, working with Arun Chakraborty, we will take up all these things in the board meeting with all seriousness. The second minute, 1 minute is over, only one more minute. I thank everybody who are associated with this IPLC 2017. That includes a number of people. I'm not going to name them. I am not to talk anything more. Sincere thanks to each one of them each one of you, and people behind the scene, my sincere thanks on behalf of IPLM and my personal behalf. My 2 minutes are over. Thank you very much for your...
Thank you very much, Mr. Jayarajan. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of the two-day conference. We have workshops for you tomorrow in different halls. Please consult your coordinators for that schedule. Reminder, we have a cultural program presented by the renowned Odissi exponent, Kiran Sehgal and group on the Margosa lawns, which I encourage you now to go to. This will be followed by dinner. So thank you very much and see you in Margosa lawns.